Hey, shalom everybody. I'm here with my wife Yehudit, and we are on our way to go see a movie. So hopefully I have enough hard drive space to do this, but I wanted to talk about some differences in different types of religious sects. SECTS. Okay? So what I want to bring to your attention is the difference between a Masonic, a Messianic, a Christian, and I'll rephrase that. It's Messianic Jew and a Messianic Hebrew. So let's start with Masonic. A Masonic is somebody who is a part of the Freemason group. And for those of you who are within the Freemason group, you guys need to go check your Masonic handbook and find out what Sir Albert Pike wrote about it.
Do they all get a handbook when they start?
I don't know if they do
when
or
they go through their 101 class. Here's your handbook. Sign in the back.
I have to ask Mark about that one. But for sure, it is a Luciferian religion, and he is very, very clear about that aspect of being a Freemason is, or what being Masonic is. Second, let's talk about what a Christian is. So Christian beliefs are of twofold that we've seen in our growing. Okay, so what does it mean to be a Christian? It means to accept Yeshua HaMashiach.
Well, the original translation, there was actually, Christians never considered themselves Christians. It was
right. There's the way.
Yeah, well, the other nations called them Christians. So it was never something that the believers considered themselves. It's in the Bible. I don't know exactly where, somewhere probably in Acts, that other people called them Christians, which supposedly translates to little Christ. So it was derogatory to begin with.
So Christianity in Western America stems from Catholicism. Now you guys need to go back and retrace your roots. So I myself used to be a Christian. I renounced Christianity, renounced Catholicism. I had to. Any type of ism is not from God, and it's typically enhanced rules or fenced laws. So in addition to God's laws, precepts, teachings, and judgments, it's additional fence stuff. So.
And there have been other sects that try, obviously during the Reformation, they try and break away from all of that, but then there's always been where they kept some, or they've developed their own.
Right. So, I mean, this video is not to go into the thousands of sects of Christianity, okay? That's not what this is about. So, it is just really basic, is that there's two forms of Christianity that kind of encompasses the whole thing that we've seen. Is that number one is that they say Jesus Christ is the Son of God, and number two, or number two, that he is God, as in he is the Father himself, that it is not a Trinity, but it is what they call modalism, where it's one God with three parts, but it's the same being. So that's the major thing about Christianity. So why Christians and Jews don't get along, for those of you who are new to understanding Messianic Judaism or Judaism in general, Jews don't believe, typically the Chassidic Jews, Ashkenazi Jews, Sephardic Jews, they don't believe that Jesus is the Messiah. So they don't believe that God has a son. And they follow the 613 commandments. Now the Hasidics follow the 613 commandments.
Yeah,
Ashkenazi
not all
and
Jews are religious.
Yeah, and that's the other part of it too, is there's hundreds of sects of Judaism, just like there's hundreds of sects of Christianity. And I know I said thousands before, but I'm just me being exaggeratory. You like that one? Okay. So let's talk about the difference between a Messianic Jew and a Christian. Now, typically, a Messianic Jew are those Jewish people who grew up Jewish, who will not leave their Jewish identity. I think that's the best way to say it. So they maintain the feasts, and they actually accept Jesus as their Messiah, and they call him Yeshua HaMashiach.
Which, from my understanding, my current understanding, that's very biblical. You know, you have all of the Bible, and then you accept Jesus. you maintain it all, and it's not a Jew. I don't know. I see it a lot. It's not a Jewish Bible. It's not the Jewish law. It's not the Jews. It's the Lord's. So, anyways, they maintain the Lord's commandments and the testimony of Yeshua, which is actually spoken of in Revelation as well. Those that will overcome. Okay.
So, and that's where I was going to go next. Is that there are some Jews that are not Torah observant. So what that means is that they keep the feasts, they keep their identity, but they don't do the Old Testament laws. They believe that they're under grace. That's what I've seen.
And they're also not. There's no temple.
And there's no temple to in order to obey the 613 regarding sacrifice, which is valid. So I would also like to say this. I'd like to mention this is that additional differences is that a difference between a Messianic Hebrew and a Messianic Jew is like, we consider ourselves Messianic Hebrews, and that is we do our best to follow the 613. I can't follow them because I'm not a woman, so I can't follow all of them, and I'm not a priest. But because why? Because and there's no temple, so there's no sacrifice, so I can't follow all 613 laws. But I study the Chassidim commandments because I do believe that the majority of them there are valid, and I believe in Mitzvot. I believe in the good works and doing the commandments, and I think that we should be doing that. So Messianic Jews, on the other hand, they're split, and the reason why is because Messianic Judaism is exodusing out of Christianity, and they still have remnants of the Catholicism in them. Because what we've seen is that the majority of Messianic Jews are led by Christian leaders. They're not always led by Jewish leaders or Hebraic leaders. So I can't speak for every Jewish leader, Messianic Jewish leader. I can't speak for every Christian leader. I can't speak for them on their behalf. We're saying that they believe that not only is Jesus Messiah, and that Torah is still in effect, and that they haven't renounced their Christian past. Now, Christianity, in my opinion, just to kind of clarify, it's still very much tied and rooted into Catholicism. You want to say anything? You look like you want to say something.
Every congregation, every assembly, every body of believers is different. So
that's for sure.
This is not an absolute statement.
Right.
It's just very.
This is our observation of what's going on in the community. Mostly mine. Okay, it's like I study this stuff night and day, guys. Go ahead.
So always double check with your community, your assembly, and find out what they believe. But I feel like this video is to trigger questions so that you can take to your leadership to find out what it is that they truly believe and what angle that they are coming from.
And for you to trigger your own Berean research. You're supposed to look into the scriptures yourself and find this. You're not supposed to necessarily, take somebody else's word for what your religion says. Like, everybody has their own beliefs, but that's the biggest problem with religion. Okay, so lastly, let's talk about what it is to be a Messianic Hebrew. Messianic Hebrew is different than Christianity. It's different than Messianic Judaism. And just to also be clear, there's a difference between the Black Hebraic movement, the Black Hebrews movement.
Black Hebrew Israelites.
Black Hebrew Israelites, that's right.
Hebrew roots.
Right, that's actually three different things. The Black Hebrew movement, the Black Israelites, the what would you say, the Hebrew roots movement, and the Messianic Hebrew movement. It's not the same. Messianic Judaism is number 5. Go ahead.
They're back to the Messianic Hebrew, Messianic Judaism. Art Katz has a video, maybe you can put it in comments, that defines and separates the two. And then there is, actually, I saw a video, it was just a video I saw, I don't know, that there's mind control that created a sect of Hebrew roots to discredit anything Hebrew related. So there are sects out there that do is mind control, and you have your victims of mind control and those that want to follow but they get trapped in something that's false. So just so you know, there are things out there that have an ugly background and foundation that is there to discredit anything else.
That's very well put.
The end.
The end. Not really. Okay, so being a Messianic Hebrew is going back and following what Yeshua said regarding Abraham when he was talking to a group of Jews, okay? Now, just to make sure that you guys understand that there's a difference between... We are live.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a difference between a Jew and a Hebrew. Every Jew is a Hebrew, but not every Hebrew is a Jew, because Jew comes from the tribe of Yehudim, Judah. The Judeans. Sorry, I got a little pop-up on my window. It doesn't want to go away while I'm live. Oh, boo.
Close?
I tried.
Okay.
Okay, so... Sorry, everybody. There we go. Looks like we're back. Okay, so the Jews, if you remember in the series of Kings, 1st and 2nd Kings, Israel underwent a split. They went from 12 states to 2 states, and the 2 states were called Judah and Israel. And then later on, they became a lesser people in the time of Babylon. It was called the diaspora. Nebuchadnezzar went into Israel and sacked it, and sacked the temple.
In a quarter of a mile, turn left.
Thank you. And when the Jews and the Israelites went back out of captivity, when Nehemiah and Ezra rebuilt the temple, there was a new management type of shift that happened, right? And then later on, during the time of Daniel, he prophesied about Mashiach, which is one of the reasons why I believe that Yeshua is Mashiach. Okay, I believe what the prophet Daniel spoke. So when Mashiach came, there was different leadership as well. We had a Herod, a Herod. That was a new thing, and we had the Perushim, the Pharisees, and we had the Sadducees. That was a different form of government and within the priesthood. So. Oh, sorry, my wife's rapping. Okay, so what does that mean for you? So Yeshua, when he was there, he said, you call yourselves children of Abraham. If you certainly were children of Abraham, you would do the things that Abraham did. And Abraham was not a Jew, and he was not an Israelite. Those 2 types of seed were within him. Why? Because Abraham had Isaac. So Abraham had Isaac, and he had Yaakov and Jacob. Okay, Jacob had his name changed to Israel, which the father changed his name to Israel. Very pretty.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, so therefore Abraham was known as a Ivrit. He was a Hebrew. That means he was the root bloodline. And if you really wanted to delve into it a little bit more accurately, he was a Shemite. That was what his bloodline came from Noah. So what does that mean? Why should you care? So the answer is because Yeshua cares about things that are Hebraic. Those things that he wants us to have the same type of faith that Abraham had. And it's not bypassing and circumventing the government in which God created, because his government had always been Yahweh Elohim as king and ruler of the universe. That's the first thing. The second thing is he set up a priesthood in the earth. That is his government, is his priesthood. And the third thing is his Zekanim. That is his elders. That is his council. So when you see during the time of Moses, and he had 70 elders, those were 70 elders of the 12 tribes of Israel. Those 70 elders had power, authority, and jurisdiction just as much as Moses did. If you remember, Jethro, he was there with Moshe and said, you can't do all this by yourself, you've got to delegate. Go look it up. I'm tired of giving everybody chapter and verse. You guys got to go do your own research, go do your own homework. So what this means to me as a Messianic Hebrew is I want to do the things that Abraham did because it's a commandment by Yeshua.
He's the father of our faith.
He's the father of our faith, okay? So I believe that when the Father set up the priesthood and set up the government, we should be entering into that. And so you guys go check out my video on the Chassidic Levites.
We're
They're-
grafted into Israel. What would that look like?
Well, you want? Well, that's the Gentiles that are grafted in. You want to go there?
Well, no, I'm just saying that it's all grafted into Israel, and so that's
Oh,
the government
yeah.
that it would look like.
There it is. Okay, so my mission in life is to restore the Chassidic Levites and submit myself unto them, because I believe with all my heart that the Chassidic know what's going on, and they have heard from the Lord, and they're a very special entity, a special group of bloodline, a special group of people. And yes, this is not replacement theology. I am talking about the bloodline of the Levites, specifically the clan of Zadok. Okay, so again, go look it up. I have a video. I'll post it in the comments later regarding the Chassidic Levites. But look it up in Ezekiel chapter 42 through 44. All right. So continuing on the discussion, I am, I am Torah observant, and not all Messianic Jews are Torah observant. I cannot be 100% Torah observant. I'm not a woman. I cannot do the laws and commandments regarding those specific commands towards women. And plus, there's no temple, so the sacrificial system, I can't do that. I can't, I don't have a Levite to go to. But why are we waiting for an event? That we should be collectively looking into this government. We should be collectively looking into
Because it's going to be restored.
It's
when
gonna,
it
yeah,
returns.
like the whole point of looking into the government of the Chassidic, okay, is that when Mashiach comes back, his title will be Melech Tzedek, or Melchizedek, my king of righteousness. Okay, Melech Tzedek is king, Melech is king, Tzedek is righteousness. So, when he comes back, he's going to be served by the Chassidic, and that's the government. And so what ended up happening is you have to look at what happened with Israel. They decided that they wanted to be like the other nations of the earth. This was in 1st and 2nd Samuel, and therefore God allowed Shaul, who was Saul, to be the first king of Israel. And then David, he ended up becoming king. So I don't want a king over me. I want the Father to be king over me. I think that that's the major difference between Christians and Jews and Masons. Like that's it. The Father is my king. I've renounced all kingship from anybody else. I've renounced all religion, including Judaism, out of my life. And I want to do exactly what Torah says to do. And the reason why I want to do exactly what Torah says to do is because every single event that ever happened in Israel that was in terms of calamity happened because Israel didn't do what the Torah said to do, according to Deuteronomy 28.
Most of the time is they were not honoring the Sabbath.
Right. And they were not taking care of the widow or the orphan. That was important to God. It's still important to God. And they were, doing sacrificing of the children too, which God says is abomination to detest. The land would vomit us out for doing the practices of what the Canaanites, the Hittites, and 7 nations greater than us did. So, and then I would also like to say too is that these groups of people that this video is targeting, I know it's been 20 minutes, probably the longest video I have so far. These groups of people that we're targeting and regarding the sects is that love is a major component in all of this. And, you could say that one group loves more than another. I don't think so. I think it comes back down to the original. I mean, the person themselves and where their convictions are with God. I'm like, you can ask my wife. I am ready at the drop of the hat to wash someone's feet because I believe in foot washing. And I believe that, we're supposed to love one another, but we're also supposed to keep our guard up. And I also like to say this, is that I believe that being a Messianic Hebrew is a step up from Christianity because it's a maturity. And I think that Christianity has a lot of maturing to do. And because they don't understand what their original purpose and intention is of being a group of people. And you'll find that in Romans 7 through 11, that they're supposed to be able to make the Hebrew jealous for Torah. Paul called the law holy. So if he called the law holy, then you guys, your perspectives of what Torah is have got to upgrade a little bit. Try taking in something new and learning something new about Torah that maybe your pastor didn't learn in seminary, or maybe if you are a pastor, maybe you didn't learn this in seminary. And I don't think it's going to be taught in seminary because they have their own agenda too. I mean, we're supposed to be all of one faith anyways. We're supposed to be of one person. No Jew, no Gentile, no male, no female, but we're all supposed to be Israel. And it's not replacement theology Israel. It is both bloodline and Gentile. Why? Because the 70 root religions or 70 root nations, I mean not root religions, but 70 root nations have a lot to do with the origins of the world in terms of government. Anyways, we got to go. Thank you for listening, and hope to see you some other time.
All right. Bye.
Shalom. Oh, big face.